Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of EastEnders Weekly. And yes, we are officially the unofficial podcast where we talk about all things EastEnders.
Yes, we are. Oh, and I'm Alex, by the way. Haven't done that for a while. I'm Alex.
It's still us two.
It is. We haven't changed at all. Who are you? Come on.
Recast Ben.
You're the recast Ben. You're number 5 or number 6? I can't keep up with so many changes. I thought to our video game fans or friends out there who are listening to the show as well, that this is EE3.
EastEnders E3 electronic. Yes.
EE3.
Although E3's over now, so we're a bit late.
Or EE20. That would have been clever, wouldn't it?
I thought
it's been
E3, so not really.
EE320. I don't know. You're kind of straining the joke a little bit. Not that there was much of a joke there, apparently. Anyway.
The only joke was you.
I am. I'm the joke in the pack.
So let's go on to the topic of EastEnders. The episodes we're discussing are the 10th to the 13th of June, because there's no Friday episode again.
No, because of the Women's World Cup. The results would have happened by the time this is
Women's World
aired.
Cup
I
on
know.
TV.
What? What's this game made by Satan?
Wow.
I know, and it's getting quite good ratings as well, finally. I mean, it's on the main channel in the UK, which is nice to see.
Good.
The United States team pulverised. I mean, I don't like football the best of times, but they apparently got a 12-0 game. Like, they did really well, yeah. And
That's exciting.
But a lot of people were moaning because they said that they were basically rubbing salt into a wound, and they were deliberately kind of like showing off.
What they meant to do is stop playing because they're so ahead.
Well, I mean, I think they should do that in football anyway. I think if after like 30 minutes they've scored 12 goals, they must just say, nah, let's just give up. I don't want to play anymore.
That's why you're not in charge.
What, of FIFA?
Of football.
Of what,
In
the
general.
whole football
Yeah.
of the world of football? That's a big ask.
I mean, we're talking about football. There's not been a football storyline on EastEnders, thank God. So I don't know why we're now willingly talking about it.
Well, no, that's true. They've been threatening it, haven't they? With the Mitch and Mick story.
I think there is
Kinda
one
got it
looming,
quiet.
but I don't know when.
You've mentioned that they're
know.
bringing it back. And
They are.
You said that months ago. They haven't done anything since.
Keegan has been seen filming on location in a football outfit.
Well, that means
Costume.
nothing. I could wear a T-shirt with Britney Spears on the top front of it. It doesn't mean I'm singing a concert for her, is it?
I mean, Robbie had a storyline this week. That was my low moment of this week because Robbie just so shows how pointless he was, by the way. But we'll be talking about that later. Do you have any highs or lows this week?
Quickly referencing you back to you saying about Robbie, I thought Robbie was okay. I didn't mind Robbie this week. I really didn't. I think my high was without doubt seeing Mick Carter in a little black dress.
Well, it looked quite good on him, actually.
Yeah, he suits it. He might need to shave his legs a little bit. But keep the stubble. That's fine. Just shave your legs. A bit more streamlined.
Oh dear. I mean, we're going to start off with the new couple that everyone loves, Ben and Callum, after their night of passion.
Ballum.
Yes, Ballum.
It's official.
Officially, yes.
Ballum.
There was discussions between the storyliners, the writers, the lighting directors.
Yeah, we're all over Twitter, and I know we got involved as well. And Ballum, I think it's officially been decided. Ballum is the name.
It does sound the best when you say out loud, Ballum.
Ballum. But it's a question on whether in America they might say Ballum, which could be
Is there?
misconstrued. Yeah, it's the way it's pronounced.
Well, that's good as well, Ballum. That goes with both of them, so it's good. But Callum found his balls, speaking of Ballum, if we speak of Ballum, because he found his balls this week.
He did, he stood up.
to Ben.
Yeah, he did.
I think Ben quite liked that, actually, secretly.
I don't know. I think Ben likes the fact that he's manipulated this whole story so far, and now he's having his words thrown back at him. And
I mean,
threats
Ben's
back.
managed to manipulate nothing out of nothing so far, so he's still not doing very good at it.
Ben
is he?
still hasn't had a successful espionage quite yet, has he? He's not for the will of trying, but he's done quite a few things now since he's returned to the square, and he's not really had one that's kind of taken off.
No,
very
even
well.
Callum is standing up to him, so
Yeah.
he's not got much hope. Whitney, our favourite girl, she, sorry Kathy, she's got a pitch.
She has, yeah. She's starting her T-shirt empire. Starting small, but very similar to Kathy, mentioning her. And that's having a little stall at the market. She's talked to Mr. Lister, which I forgot about Lister, the market trade.
Yeah, I've seen him in ages.
What is he, kind of the manager, isn't he? He kind of walks around.
Because Robbie did take over that job like a few years ago.
Well, Robbie
when he returned.
He returned, took over the job, and then got demoted as the street sweeper.
Yeah, and then had 6 months off.
Now he's got no job, no child, no girlfriend or wife,
No storyline.
no house. He's just got Sonia to depend on. Oh no, he does. He lives with Kush. I'm sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, how's he paying rent for Kush? That's something we should talk about in the next story. That's
Not thought about that deeply into Robbie.
no, No one has.
But yeah, we don't really know much about Whitney's project, apart from she's making T-shirts.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just... it's not T-shirts. She's making things on a sewing machine.
Oh, is she?
She's pumping them out.
She is definitely doing that.
Well, I'm presuming it's very similar to when Kathy had a knitting machine. She just knits in the evening. Knit. Although we've not seen any...
Callum's looking elsewhere.
Well, we've not seen any evidence that Whitney's done any work whatsoever.
No,
she's got the stall.
I'm guessing she's taken Donna's pitch, because Donna used to have a fashion stall, didn't she?
Oh, that's a prime pitch. Do you think Whitney would have got that pitch immediately? That's right next to Kush's.
Maybe she got the fish one that Lee and that bold guy, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Shirley's husband.
Yeah, Buster. Maybe got that. Maybe she got that pitch.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a bit further up, isn't it? I mean, if I was Shrimpy, I'd be pretty miffed if like Whitney just came in and said, I want that pitch, and got it.
I have this business idea that came out of nowhere.
I mean, well, the pitch originally was next to Donna's was that guy who was selling the antiques, who was there for like 3 days and then left, disappeared.
He was like a Broadway actor. They paid loads of money for him, and then he was on it for like 2 weeks.
He did like a few pronounced words really and then weird. Left.
Do you think she's phoned her mate Lauren Branning and asked her to design a website for her as well? Or a Facebook page?
We do know that Lauren has a history of designing websites for people and taking photographs of buildings and uploading them. You know, that takes a degree to do. I mean, yeah, she might. She could do it remotely, couldn't she? Lauren can do it. And
she's a modern woman.
I mean, Lauren needs to make some penny somehow. She's got a child to look after now.
And we had Callum proposing to Whitney.
Yeah.
Now, is Lauren going to get an invitation to the wedding? She's her best friend.
Do you want Lauren back?
No.
Then why are you asking?
I'm double-checking all these things. I don't want Lauren back.
I mean, also Bianca. Is she coming back for the wedding, do you think?
Well, Louise Layton took over the BBC's Instagram yesterday.
That's dangerous.
And she showed what they were filming. She was all dressed up, getting her hair done. Callum was in a grey suit.
Oh.
Ben was walking around in the background in a white suit.
So innocent.
I think... And there was a rail... They went through the costumes. Bianca's costumes were all there. There was Bianca's next to Beck's. There was Bianca, Beck's and someone else.
Do you think they store like the old costumes and they dust them off when they come back?
No, they were all new because they were all of Bianca's new costumes were like big, loud flower print, like floaty dresses. So wedding dress.
So kind of hippie Bianca, more like Patsy Palmer then maybe. Maybe Patsy Palmer said, "I'll come back, but I want to be more Patsy Palmer Bianca."
Yeah. So I'm guessing they're filming the wedding now and Bianca's costume's there, so maybe Bianca's coming back for the wedding.
Yeah, well, she's just been to her daughter's graduation. It was on her Instagram. This is Patsy Palmer, not Bianca. And so I suppose the school year is over now in America, because they have longer summer holidays, don't they, to us? So, possibly. Yeah, it makes sense for her to pop on over.
So the wedding.
Yeah.
So all the shouting on that wedding, and that comes out with Bianca there.
They're going to have her shout something. I do think Callum! I mean, I think they're going to do something like that parodies on Ricky, so she'll be like Tricky or something like that. I really do. I've got it. I'm thinking about it right now.
Maybe Sid Owen might make a surprise appearance.
That'd be fun. Coming over from France, as house in France.
There's loads of people that can go to her wedding. Ryan, is he going to come? Her brother?
Ryan's on the run still.
No,
he's not.
Now,
he came out of prison. Yeah, he got done. Yeah.
See, there's so many opportunities.
Well, I'm looking forward to the wedding.
But yeah, that was on the Instagram. That was Louisa was showing everyone.
I mean, if you look at Louisa's Instagram, it's probably best not to let her on Instagram, the official one, to be fair.
She did say that, to be fair, this will probably be not very good.
Okay, kudos to her for being honest.
Anyway, back to the actual storyline.
Ben and Callum.
Talking about, Ben and Callum. Well, there's not really much going on with Ben and Callum, really. They're sort of a bit hot-headed with
I know,
each other.
Someone's put some water on the fire a little bit, haven't they? They kind of simmered it down a bit. Let's talk about a little bit of some of the characters that seem to be noticing it. So the Ben and Callum story. So Jay has mentioned it for the second time this week.
Because he saw Ben looking at him across the path.
Yeah, and told him again to just leave him alone. I don't know what your obsession is with Callum, but just leave him alone. And now Stuart has started piping up a little bit and saying, are you sure there's nothing between you and Ben? Are you sure? Yeah,
because Callum did that annoying thing where they keep, my friend has a problem.
I know.
And it's this problem.
I hate it when they do that.
So they've done that loads recently.
They did it last week, didn't they? And
with Kat and Kush, yeah. And like every single time, the person who they're talking to just knows immediately that they're talking about them.
Yeah, which was a joke really when Kat worked it out. When Kush was asking about Bex, and Kat knew exactly what he was talking about, so it was fine because he kind of lightheartedly saw it. But this week, between Stuart and Callum, it was seen as quite serious. But and Stuart obviously knows now, and this is again the introduction that we talked about maybe last week of their dad, because he is coming soon.
Yes,
because the trailer. Yeah, so the trailer that they showed. Lots of the stories happened this week, but were in it. So I'm guessing that Stuart is going to be a bit more open to Callum and say, look, I know you're gay, or I understand, I get it now. Because I don't know.
Maybe stands up to his dad. Maybe that's why he's maybe. But I mean, his little chat Callum had with Stuart did give him like a bit of a confidence boost, because he thought, no, I'm going to stand up to you, Ben. Because Ben wanted him to lie to the police about the van, otherwise I'll out you. Even though last week he wasn't going to out you.
Which Callum did, because he wasn't able to go to the Lister meeting for the market store. But Whitney held it on herself. So and
then Whitney came in and had a go at Ben, and Callum just stood there like, yes, mum.
Yeah, I know. It's like, all right, so someone's under the thumb already. But then I suppose that's what Callum... Because later in the week...
That's what Callum needs.
Well, it is what I think Callum needs. Callum just needs mothering and looking after. When Whitney wanted to go to the opening of the Prince Albert, which we'll be talking about later on in the show...
Oh, yeah.
Callum just said, well, you know what I'd rather have? A nice cuddle. A nice cuddle on the sofa.
Yeah. Although the dress that she chose, like, to go to the gay club opening was really boring. It was just a black dress. It's like, come on. Kathy's there in, like, gold sequins, and Whitney's just in a black dress.
Kathy did look stunning, to be perfectly honest. She did look... I'm sorry, every time I say stunning, I have to do it in a teenage girl's voice. Stunning. She really did, though.
Oh, yeah, that lighting in there. Very good.
It's very bright in it for a gay club, I thought. I mean...
And purple lighting, wasn't there? There was lots of different
colours. Well, there was lots of there was colour everywhere. It was like they dropped an acid or something.
But no, he preferred a cuddle on the sofa, because he said that place is a little bit, and then he stopped himself. So he's not too
A little
keen.
bit dangerous in case I kiss another man, or a little bit...
Go into Ben's red room, dark room.
Yeah, a little bit my kind of style. What did you mean, Callum? What did you mean?
But yeah, he's covering himself all bases because he's proposed to her now, so it's all sturdy.
And he's told Ben the rules, and he's basically called Ben's bluff, and it's worked. He said, you know what? Okay, fine, you tell Whitney. She won't believe you. She'll believe me.
Yeah.
Because I'll make her believe me. He was a bit, don't you think he was a bit with that comment? He was like, yeah, well, who do you think she's going to believe? Me, obviously, because it's me. I'm Callum. Of course she's going to believe me.
Well, he has one night under the stars, and he thinks he's Mr. Macho, doesn't he?
I mean, I was a bit disappointed at the beginning of the week when he woke up next to Whitney and not next to Ben on the swings.
I know, but he was looking out the window thinking about it. And then Whitney was like just staring at him. So,
but this is where Whitney thought that their relationship had broken down. But luckily, what do you do when you think you're going to break up with someone? Propose marriage. That's the way to do it.
Seems to work. So next up, we've got the Robbie Jackson storyline.
Yeah, which I thought was okay. As a rule, we both kind of say, "Oh, Robbie, what's he there for? What's his point?" But there was a point this week.
It was.
Yeah.
The storyline was kind of pointless. And also, Robbie was like the worst bit of the storyline.
What, not Sammy, the small child, or Sonia?
Everyone else had more lines than him as well. Even Nita had more lines on one episode, half an episode, than he's had for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but Robbie was always trying to dodge people, and that was the point, wasn't it? So that's why he didn't have many lines. He was always trying to avoid a confrontation. So first of all, he was trying to avoid Nita's calls, so he just literally ignored the phone.
Wasted a plane ticket.
Yeah. And then, and wasted an expensive plane ticket. Then Kush tried to advise him with, perhaps you're breaking the law here. Nope, ignored that.
Get his sister Sonia on the case.
Yeah, after some good advice from Kat. Kat's good with advice recently.
She did offer to talk to Robbie, but Kush was like, no.
No, yeah. Well, he wanted someone who... someone on Robbie's level.
Sonia.
Let's just say. Yeah, so Sonia. Yeah. Who else is a 2-bit player in the soap at the moment? Sonia. Yeah. So yeah, but Sonia again, to her will, she tried to organise a picnic for them to, talk. There's a few fruit shoots thrown in, nice ham sandwich wrapped in cling film about 5 times. Did you notice the way she was wrapping that ham sandwich in the cling film?
No, I didn't take much notice of any of it. I rewatched the Nita scene when Nita was talking to Robbie at the end of the week. But still, it was just pointless to me, really. Like, watching it again, it's just, like, because Nita turns up after a big argument because Robbie's not returning calls, basically.
Yeah, well, Robbie left with Sammy. Obviously, the plan was Sammy would fly back.
Yeah.
But he's obviously kept hold of him. But Robbie's quite upset because Nita has now got a new boyfriend. And so Robbie thinks that he won't see Sammy anymore and that Sammy will forget him. To be fair, I think Sammy did have enough of Robbie by the end of the week.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you do forget, Robbie's been gone for 6 months, hasn't he? If not, like, 4 to 6 months, roughly.
It was just before Christmas, I think.
Yeah. So, has Nita recently got this boyfriend, or did she have this boyfriend when he flew out 6 months ago? Because Robbie's had 4 to 6 months to get used to this idea.
I mean,
and it's
Robbie,
acting like he's just been on a 2-week holiday when he hasn't.
That's true. Robbie's a bit of a third wheel. Can you imagine that house with Robbie like, morning everyone, and like the boyfriend and Nita just being like, oh, Robbie.
Still here, is he?
Yeah. When you go, maybe they did it as a deal. It's like, look, Robbie, if you go, you can take Sammy for a week.
Yeah.
Show him London. Just go away for a bit, all right?
Because Nita did come back. She had a big, I think it was like a 11-year gap, maybe even more that Nita's had. But
No,
the same actress.
Because Sammy's not 11. It would have been just after Sammy was born, wasn't it? Sammy seemed to be about 7 or 8.
No, he's older than that, isn't he? Must be.
He's quite he can hold a conversation. That's how I age children. how well they age.
But it's nice that they used the same actress again, just for the one little episode.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to bring her back. It's another little trait they've been doing. They've been bringing back the same well, apart from characters who are staying, and then they've recast them.
But a nice little fact: they couldn't find the actress because she doesn't act anymore. So they actually came across her profile on LinkedIn and messaged her that way to come and do the show.
Wow, really? That's insane.
She doesn't act anymore, but they found her on LinkedIn. They're all connected.
Nice. What does she do now?
I don't know. I'm not that much of a stalker.
Go on LinkedIn, find out.
No, you have to pay.
Maybe we could hire her to do this. Oh my goodness.
I quite enjoyed Nita. She was quite good. She was feisty. She knew what she wanted. She shouted at Sonia, shouted at Robbie. Yeah. Got things sorted in half an episode and off.
But that's right. She didn't stretch out for too long. To be fair, it was really everyone else's fault, not Nita's. Nita was the one who was basically on the right side of all of this. Robbie had done wrong. And I suppose
like that chat between Robbie and Nita in the living room when she was like convincing him to give him up. It was a bit like nothing to me. Like it was just like a nothing storyline. Like it really didn't need anything. Or what does this mean going forward for Robbie? Like, has he learned something, or is he going to do something from like what's going to come of this storyline?
Well, before he left, wasn't he trying to find himself a replacement for Donna? So he's probably still
Donna Kebab.
Yeah, Donna Kebab. So he's probably still quite hurt by that, and that's why he had this attachment issue with Sammy and Nita. So perhaps love is on the horizon for Robbie.
Who? There's no characters that can go with him.
Dunno.
Unless he meets someone in the Prince Albert.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe he'll come out as gay.
Oh no. But I mean, bless Robbie. Is he really needed?
The thing is, they made such a big fanfare of his return, and when he did return, it was a bit limp. But then he had
kept leaving rooms.
But then he had a good storyline this week.
Bit of a secret.
Yeah. So now they need to push through and give more for Robbie. Let's give Robbie something.
I just can't
Let's start the campaign.
Think what? Unless Nita stayed, that could have given.
Well, that's the only thing I think. There's something Nita's going to return in like 2 weeks, but then that's convincing you. Say like if the actress doesn't act anymore, exactly. It's convincing her to do it.
She was better than him at acting. She jumped straight in.
I did like the way she was really scorned him as well. Like when Sammy was getting back into the black taxi with Robbie, the scornful look she looked at Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
through the shot from the mirror of the taxi.
Yeah, she was like, no, Robbie, you're never doing this again. Never is this happening again. This is the last time you've seen your son.
Yeah, but it was just a bit of like, didn't really go anywhere for me. It just lasted 3 episodes. It was like a return for Nita, but again, she just resolved it and then left. And like going forward, like next week, I can't think, I can't wait to see what Robbie does about that. Like it doesn't lead anywhere to me.
Robbie gets a job. There you go.
We've had that loads of times.
That's a story. Yeah, there's something to do in it. You need to keep him busy. We've learnt this from Robbie. Keep him busy.
We've got all these new characters. I'm afraid Robbie's on the chopping block now. He's had his storyline.
Relationship with Ikra
and Robbie. That's the trouble. I can't see anything going on with Robbie, so it's just difficult.
Well,
unless he just lives in that house with Sonia forever.
Let's see how often Robbie is referenced for the next couple of weeks to see how strong it is that
I'll keep a check on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so next up we have our first to last feature is back, where we discuss the characters' beginnings and end.
And what a sad end it is.
Right, so it's time for another section of First Till Last.
Indeed it is, and because we like to keep our fans happy, we are doing a bit of a throwback to classic EastEnders First Till Last, because unfortunately if you've been watching episodes of classic EastEnders on the drama channel, character that's loved by few but remembered by many has sadly died from an overdose.
Yes, choking on said vomit.
Well, after a huge hot shot, as the kids call it these days.
That's right, we're doing a character sort of profile on Donna Ludlow, where we sort of talk about the character from their first appearance and how they've changed right up until their last. And again, this is quite a big change in character for Donna.
It certainly is, and she wasn't really in the soap for very long either, in the grand scheme of things. She was only in it for a couple of years, so to have such a change... But then it was always there, underlying, even from the beginning, you could see it was always there about Donna. It just needed something to pull it out of her, and unfortunately, the circumstances were very dire for her in the end.
They were. It's a very gruesome death, and, I mean, I don't know if half of her, last sort of 6 months on the show was slightly altered because Punk Mary left, and it kind of looked like this storyline that Donna had could have been what Punk Mary was meant to have, maybe.
Yeah, because she was quite close to Rod as well, was Donna, and so it made some sense that perhaps these were the stories that Mary was always meant to have.
So it could be a very different story for Mary.
And she would always say, "I need the money," quite often as well, did Donna, near the end of her time.
And she ended up living with Dot, and Mary and Dot had that friendship.
They had that relationship, didn't they?
Yeah, you can kind of see how it went. But I mean, Donna was a great character. You said she was in it for 2 years.
Yeah.
But I did really grow to maybe not like Donna, but she's one of those characters which she hasn't got many good points about her.
No,
she's quite unlikable, but at the same time you still feel for her.
Well, she was very scheming, and she would always do what would benefit Donna at the end of the day, even if she... But in Donna's mind, she almost didn't see that, so it was like her manipulative nature wasn't obvious to her. Not like, say, Janine, a character like Janine, where she manipulated purposefully. The way Donna would manipulate would benefit her ultimately, but she really didn't do it with any kind of viciousness behind it. No. There was no malicious intentions.
And you have the backstory of, obviously, where you find out she's Kathy's daughter from a rape when she was 14. She was adopted. She's never had anyone that she's never really truly fitted in or found someone who really loves her or real family, and that's why she comes to Wolford. And I suppose that's the underlying thing in her head the whole time, is that she's desperately lonely. And no matter what she does, whether she does nice or lies or tells the truth, no one ever really loves her back.
No, but even at the beginning, where she could have just been open and honest with Kathy, she kept the secret to herself for almost a year, where she would phone, because this is when Kathy was working at the Samaritans as well, which another job Pete didn't enjoy her having, and she would phone secretly, and Kathy was becoming suspicious because she recognised the voice, but she couldn't put her finger on whose voice it was. She knew it was someone, and this is really Donna's kind of trait, that she wouldn't be very open and honest with people. She couldn't really. She's not an open book. It's not someone anyone can really get into. So her loneliness is almost being her shield from the world.
And she always gave these, she just sort of lived in a fairy tale, didn't she? She had this horrible background, horrible life, horrible self-worth. But the things she put onto people, she said, "Oh, I'm from Canada," or "I've travelled this," or "My parents do this," or "They were really rich." But really, that was all just fabricated in her head.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't have a terrible life. Her parents helped her with schooling. They paid for a private education. They paid for her to go, and they wanted her to go to further education. But she had a mindset. She wanted to go out on her own. So I think she felt trapped in that kind of environment too. That it's weird. She wanted people to help her, but she didn't. At the same time, didn't, and so
she was cut off, wasn't she? She desperately wanted people to help her, but at the same time, she wasn't stable enough to actually really let people in. I think it's just she's so quite layered character when you try and really think about it, because you say her foster parents gave her this lovely life, but to her, since she was a little girl, she imagined the life with her real mum, Kathy, was even better.
Yeah, that's right.
But then when she came to Wolford and saw that she wasn't accepted by her brother or her Pete, her stepdad, her life, it wasn't sort of greener on the other side. It's almost
that's right. And she was didn't want to admit then to her parents that she was wrong and wouldn't go back. But at the same time, she desperately tried to forge a life in Wolford and Albert Square, and it was almost like she wouldn't.
Cost her her life.
It did cost her her life, but she didn't want to give up. She refused to give up, which is such a that's a battle mentality, that she made this decision, she's sticking to it, and she's going to see it through. And it's all to a fault that she would not admit that she was wrong and that she could have gone back to her parents. I mean,
because when she lost her job at the Vic, and she was like homeless, she was having no money, she could have easily gone back to her parents.
Yeah. Well, her parents wanted her back because Kathy phoned them and said, just take her back. I've had enough, just take her back. And they did come back, but she was, no, I'm staying. I mean, she attached herself to men quite often too, didn't she? She seemed to want men to trust her more than she did women. Women she suspected from the get-go, like with Cindy and then later with Kathy. She let Dot in, but because Dot seemed quite genuine with her.
Well, the thing I take away from that is that she saw Cindy or Kathy there. In the show, they're portrayed as sexy, good-looking women. I don't think Donna had an ounce of self-worth. No. So she thought anyone who's more attractive than me, anyone who's more intelligent than me, is an enemy.
Well, her jealousy would get her too, wouldn't it? Because of the whole Wixie story where she was constantly battled to try to get his affection.
Yeah. And she never understood. She always said, why does he prefer Cindy to me? And she never understood why her being manipulative is probably the reason why. But in her head, she had so much self-worth that she thought it's because I'm not pretty. It's not because I'm not that. So you do really feel for her. But at the same time, she has all these horrible tendencies where she cheats on husbands or she blackmails people. She tried to sleep with Ian just to anger Kathy.
Well, she was making... Yeah, that's right. She was trying to sleep with her own brother to upset Kathy. Rise. And she slept with Ali and then started blackmailing Ali, which caused a rift then as well. And so she, as you said, one by one, she did take people for granted and then have them, quite understandably not really want to associate themselves with her. And she really attached herself, and Dot even says this, she really attached herself to Rod. And even though Rod had been let down by her on constant occasion, like the drug taking, and wouldn't help him with the stool and would walk away and just lie to him constantly.
Steal from him
and stealing from him. And he would always give her another chance until the point when he broke himself, and I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
And she still had that weird thing where she sort of, what she said to herself was real, like she thought her and Rod were together but they weren't, and he was going off with these group of girls, and she was like, but we're together. And her last moments when she was with Dot, she said, I found a new job, it's going to be great, it's the best job ever.
And Dot knew that she was again lying and fabricating the whole sense, because she had two different things. She had a job in Scotland working in a hotel, or she could go to America
and be a nanny.
And so Dot made excuses, and unfortunately Carmel couldn't help because Carmel's in a bit of a pickle of her own at the moment, where she's in a bit of an abusive marriage. Yeah, and she ultimately took her life because I think she just was overwhelmed by life and just couldn't cope with it anymore.
She saw no way out, because even Kathy eventually was trying to be like open to her, and she even pushed Kathy away, and I think she just thought, you know what, I'm living in this make-believe world and that's the way I'm going to go.
I mean, Kathy did, it was difficult because I remember watching the scene with you when Kathy said, no, I don't want you to live with me, I don't want you to share a flat, and at the time of Kathy's life you can understand that because Kathy wanted that independence. She's just broken up from Pete, and my goodness, the sigh of relief you must get from leaving Pete, and and so she wanted that independence, and Donna being there wouldn't have given her the opportunity to kind of spread her wings the way she wanted to, which was unfortunate. Again, everything for Donna is an unfortunate thing that happened. But
and Kathy said, I didn't ask for you because she was raped when she was 14 years old.
Which is
I didn't
awful.
ask you. And then Donna said that horrible thing. I didn't ask to be born. It's like that. I think that from that moment she thought, there's nowhere else for me to go.
There's no going back. That's me. I've decided I don't want to be here anymore.
What a gruesome death as well, when you saw her on the floor and there was just vomit all over her and she choked on her own vomit for 2 hours.
Well, there was a rumour that they were going to cut that last shot, but they didn't actually. They kept it in.
I think they linger on it a bit longer in the original one. Right. I think it is on screen a bit longer than it was, but it was just a gruesome sight, wasn't it?
Oh, it's terrible. Well, it's a horrible way to go, choking on your own vomit in that way. I mean, we must remember, as we say, that Donna had a lot of flaws. She faked her parents' death in order to get people to raise money for her. But she was a very desperate woman.
I mean, it was really interesting because this is about the time when Julia Smith and Tony Holland had stopped producing the show, and there was a new producer, and it was Mike Gibbon, and he came in with the idea of having loads of brutal, dark, gritty exits for a lot of characters. But he had a fallout and lots of stuff went on behind the scenes, and he left very quickly.
Wasn't Pauline mentioned as well as having a death, or was this a different producer?
No, that's the same guy. They're going to kill her by having cancer. They were going to do a big terrorist bomb plot. Pete Bill was going to die. Sadly, that didn't happen.
The one thing they could have done.
Stephen Bill was rumoured to die. Wixie was rumoured to be paralysed from the waist down. Like all this, loads of things that were going to happen.
Yeah.
And apparently he got axed and lots of things got cut. But this is the one and only closest thing he got to what he wanted to do of these dark, gritty deaths. And it does show because it's quite a horrible, gritty end.
I must say, there's a notable departure from what you saw, the last 3-4 years from the soap. I even said to you that the kind of jolly side of the soap's kind of gone a little bit. The kind of community.
Ethel.
Well, just bring Ethel back. Ethel makes my whole life cheerful.
But I was really sad to see Donna go because she was such a layered character and she had loads of roots to the Bills. But I think it was a good sort of arc that she had. It had a beginning, it had a middle, and definitely had an end. So
yeah, absolutely,
she was a great character.
It was nice to see a complete story in that way, and it's nice to see it that it didn't seem to deviate. The only thing was, as you said, the Punk Mary story perhaps was added for a little bit.
Yeah, but it worked with her character, so it wasn't out of the realms of possibility.
No, and I mean the actress did move on then to do Mr. Bean and play Mr. Bean's girlfriend. I know. What a change.
And she doesn't act anymore. I think she has kids and she has like a farmhouse and things.
Oh really?
She's all right, isn't she, Donna?
I liked the character Donna. When she was first introduced, I despised her, but I think you were meant to. But again, that's what I mean. It was such clever writing. She was introduced
really cleverly as well. Like, you didn't know who she was. She was just like a bit of an extra character. And you knew she was lying, but you didn't know that she was related to Kath.
Because the whole Kathy story hadn't come out at that point just yet. Anyway.
She got a phone call at Christmas, I remember, and that's when you first got the first hints.
Yes.
That Donna was phoning Kathy for some reason.
Merry Christmas, Kathy.
But really interesting first till last, because she really did change through those years. So it's nice delving deep into it.
I mean, if anyone watching Classic EastEnders, is there any characters that you fondly remember from first till last episodes? Let us know by finding us on Twitter at EastEnders Week, on our Instagram EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or our Facebook group EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Just search for that and then click join the group.
That's right. And if you have any recommendations for characters you'd like us to look into, send them our way.
And that was
first till last. Right, so on to the main course of this week, which is a Sharon platter.
It is, made by Phil and his artful hands of being able to fry a lot of food.
I know,
and keeping it warm.
Yeah, and he promised like a different meal, and then just made what made him change his mind?
Well, he was going to order, we know what changed his mind. He was going to order Thai food in, open up the laptop, what should he see presented in front of him? An abortion clinic.
But he could have still ordered the food.
No, because he was so happy
he was by
abortion. He was so happy by that news that he was, exactly. He made a huge fire and just cooked food. I mean, there was a lot of food on a plate there.
It looked nice though. I'd be happy at that Mitchell meal.
Oh, so you need to
because it was Peggy's favourite sausages as well, from her favourite butcher.
Peggy's favourite sausages, and the black pudding was made by the same butcher who used to know the craze, which really excited Dennis. Dennis thought he was really cool by going, I'll have some of that then. And he looked around the table for anyone to acknowledge how cool he is, and no one did.
Quite a tame Mitchell meal this was. I keep having high hopes for Mitchell meals, because the fish one last time.
Which they did reference back to as well. The fish dinner, when they all had to leave the house because Louise had been kidnapped.
Yeah, and Louise is the one that referenced it. Surely that would be quite traumatising for her that night.
Well, no,
she had fish, so she was happy.
Keanu had fish. It was the night that they got together and became one. The whole reason there is now a little Mitchell / Taylor inside Louise. So I suppose you look back and you make memories, don't you? You just make memories. She's probably taken a photo of that fish and put it on her Instagram account and said, "This is the night I got pregnant."
Over Sharon's fish.
Yeah. I mean, nothing will ever beat the Mitchell meal at Easter.
No, I think that was just a high.
That was just outstanding.
Yeah. Maybe it's because Mel's was there. Mel's been
Mel
missing.
was there, Hunter was there. And it wasn't. We all know the reason why we love that night. The cream gate.
It was also the Hunter wants pudding.
Yes. I think Hunter wants some pudding. I love that. I still watch that episode back and
it's funny.
I become what Sharon becomes in that chair with the cream all over her. I just get so excited when I see that episode. It's fantastic.
But Sharon got a bit of a shock surprise. She was clutching her pearls at the end of Monday's episode. She found out she's pregnant.
Yep.
So Louise isn't the only one for a secret.
Nope. Although Louise made lots of references this week about how Sharon's a bit old now, but she's looking forward to being a grandma. And it's been a long time since she's been a mum. So Louise was unknowingly dropping little kind of jibes.
Louise is acting like she's about to give birth next week. The way she's like sitting on chairs, like holding her tummy and like getting people to do stuff around her.
I know.
Louise, like poor Sharon, she's got all the jobs on her checklist.
She hasn't even had her first check yet, has she, Louise? It could have just been, it still could just be wind. She probably doesn't even know better. She's just laying there. And she keeps rubbing her stomach as well, which I hate. I hate that trope on television.
Especially when you're like 2 weeks pregnant.
Exactly.
Like, get over it, Louise.
It's like, are you pregnant? I can tell by the way you're rubbing your tummy all the time.
I can't possibly get up and get a cup of tea. I'm pregnant.
Yeah. It's like, Keanu, do it for me.
And there's Sharon over broom. Hoovering, sweeping, cooking, cleaning.
Yeah, Sharon has become a right workhorse. I feel really bad for Sharon. And
especially in her stable condition.
Well, yes, again. But then Sharon was drinking wine. Well, she almost drank wine.
Very close. That's what really hit home for her.
Yeah, that's it. No more wine.
9 months, Sharon.
9 months.
Sober Sharon.
God, yeah, what's that going to be? I mean, I thought the Mitchell house was a sober house anyway, so why was there a bottle of wine just conveniently at eye level?
She hides it, doesn't she? Well, Sharon hides it, not very well, but she hides it in that one cupboard.
Oh, really? Wait, how's that hiding if it's the same cupboard? She can at least put it behind
not
the
there
bread
for very long, because Sharon just drinks it straight away.
That is true. She
hides it in her stomach.
Just like the baby.
Yes, I mean, is it Phil's? Is it Keanu's? What do you want to place a bet now for us to discuss in 9 months on the 35th anniversary?
Okay, so you reckon it is going to be the 35th anniversary episode? It would make good sense, and it does time well to it now.
Phil was very happy.
I think it will be. No, I don't. I think it'll be Keanu's, but Sharon will know it's Keanu's, but make out to everyone it's Phil's.
What do you think?
Yeah. And
will Louise have her baby, or will there be tragedy?
I've got a funny feeling that Louise and Sharon are going to have their baby at the same time, and so Phil's going to be running back and forth from different wards.
And Keanu, because he'll know.
Yeah. They'll probably do a bit like when Heather gave birth. So Sharon will be like the person. Somehow they'll do some kind of story
monologue.
And Sharon will be like, the next person who walks through this door is the daddy. Is your daddy. There you go. So she'll be speaking to the baby and be like, the person who walks through this door next is your dad. And then the door will open and you'll just see the shot from like the shoulder behind the person and be like, hi. And then they'll go to Duffs. And then you won't find out until the next week who the daddy is.
That could be the live insert is who walks through the door, Keanu or Phil.
Yeah. Who's the daddy story?
Or someone else could be third.
I was thinking that. Yeah. His seat took a long time to develop. I was thinking that. I wondered if there might be a possibility of a third option. Because you have to, really. For a Who's the Daddy story, you kind of want them to be a bit slaggy, don't you? And kind of. So Sharon when she was in Australia or something, she was like, oh yeah,
with Michelle.
Yeah. Not with Michelle, obviously, because there would be no baby. But
live section, Susan Tully walks in. I'll take the baby, Sharon.
Yeah.
Come on, Sharon, let's get out.
With Vicky.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be amazing. Actually, genuinely, my head would explode. Because they've done Kathy, haven't they? They brought Kathy back for live. Did. Although I did say to you, didn't I, that I hope on the 35th anniversary they bring Pete Bill back for the live episode.
Well, in the gay bar. All right, Kath. What's this?
What's that rainbow flag? Rainbows? What's the rainbow for? Ah, you're all right, Kathy. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Yeah, so bring him back live. So we also find that Sharon has a lot of skeletons in her closet that she desperately needed to open up in a therapy environment.
Oh, yeah, there was the Mitchell therapy. So much Mitchell stuff happened this week, wasn't there? That was amazing. I want more Mitchell therapy.
I don't think there's any more, likely.
Well, Sharon needs it. She's been needing that for like 30 years, hasn't she? She really opened up.
Yeah, she was opening up big time. I mean, considering it was for Dennis. But then Phil quite unkindly said to Dennis, I'll give you your phone back if you deliberately ruin this therapy session. I know, he's
awful. And last week he took it away from him because he found that he punched Sharon. Yeah. And now he's just giving it back just to get out of therapy. I mean, not very nice. Poor Sharon.
Yeah, again, though, it's Phil undermining Sharon. Which just... It seems so disrespectful, and especially when later in the week Phil kisses Sharon and says, "Oh, I appreciate that we all work you a bit hard. we all make you."
Keanu.
Yeah. We all make you make meals for us, and then we just chuck it in the bin and order a pizza instead. Also, Phil's money woes seems to have just been forgotten again. It's just kind of like he's now spending money quite dispensably.
Yeah, flowers. They're not cheap.
Flowers for Louise, but also he obviously ordered a pizza for Louise because Louise felt a bit sick over the thought of having a spaghetti bolognese. And then he was going to order Taiwanese food. I mean, he was offering abortions left, right and centre. He was like, privately.
Yeah. Therapy, that's not cheap.
Therapy, yeah. Did Sharon delve into her own pocket for that therapy, though? It was for Denny, though.
Delve into her own. She's got a separate bank account now for the baby, probably.
But
yeah, that whole thing with Phil and his money's gone very quiet, like the Danny Hardcastle and all those guys in leather jackets and all these cards. It's all gone a bit quiet, isn't it? Dodgy deals.
Presumably it's all settled down now and Phil's found a way of, earning. He's opened more garages. I mean, there was that job, because he was trying to get rid of Keanu as well for the purposes of, because right at the beginning of the week, Louise didn't like looking at Keanu anymore. It reminded her of the predicament she was in. And so he got Keanu a job in Dublin, running his own garage.
He didn't even say goodbye to his mum either.
He did. He said...
Not to her.
Yeah, but he didn't want to. He didn't want the heartbreak of saying goodbye. I thought that was a really sweet scene, actually, when he was like... It reminded me of that scene in Friends when Phoebe was like, bye-bye, forever. It reminded me a bit like that.
I see. But he didn't go to Ireland because he's a daddy now.
Well, because Louise, again, rubbed her tummy in front of him. Because this is the thing. Sharon desperately wanted to keep Keanu at home in Wolford.
She couldn't, could she?
She couldn't. Keanu was basically saying, these are the words I want to hear from Louise. Then Sharon manipulated Louise a little bit. Again, she's good at manipulating Louise. Louise is an easy target for Sharon. Oh, yeah. She's done it a couple of times.
Sharon's an expert on it.
And Louise said, what if I was to tell you that actually I didn't abort the baby? And that was it. That's all Keanu wanted. Because Keanu wanted to step up and prove. This is all about Keanu proving to himself, isn't it? He can be a better dad than his own. And he wants to show it to his mum, because Karen seemed quite pleased with the news.
Yeah, everyone's quite happy, aren't they? Apart from Sharon.
Yeah, because this is basically a tangled web that Sharon's enveloped herself in. And what's worse, hence the screaming in the square and throwing of the glass. Although no one went over to Sharon and said, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Ah!"
Kath's too busy. Her only friend now, Kath.
No, Linda.
She's too busy too. She's at Spice Girls.
She wasn't there at that point. Although she was going to see the doctor, wasn't she, Linda, at that point?
I mean, it was quite funny at the meal when they announced that Sharon was pregnant, because no one seemed happy, which is odd. It's not on the case. There's no reason for Honey not to be happy, or Billy.
Well, I think Honey was pretty much disappointed from the get-go when she saw the Kush come up and she saw just all this deep fried food.
I don't know why she keeps going to these meals. She hasn't liked them in ages.
Well, she's still associated with the Mitchells, isn't she?
Not. She's moved on.
And also it gives Adam an opportunity to have a quick one with Habiba. Just get that one going. I loved Ben's little face when he was invited to sit next to Phil. His equal little face. He had a big smile on his face. He was so happy. And then
now there's another son on the way.
I was going to say, is it a son?
Well, we don't know. A son or daughter, but I imagine... I want Sharon to have a daughter, but there's another one on the way, so inheritance being split between Louise, Ben, Denny, and now another one. Yeah,
but there was no inheritance. 1 month ago, there was no money to be split between all of them.
There's Peggy's villa.
Oh, that villa. That's what they should do. All go on a nice little holiday. All together and use that villa.
That'd be good. They should film in Spain.
Portugal, the villa, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. It's all the same.
We've been corrected on this before. Maybe
Peggy had more than one villa.
I doubt Peggy did.
Ronnie, then. Ronnie's got a villa, isn't she?
Well, again, I would imagine that asset's been sold off now. Ronnie's died. I mean, you have to remember, a lot of the Mitchells are gone.
Grant's got a villa.
That's true. Where did Grant go when he swanned off again?
Portugal.
I mean, this is the Who's the Daddy story. Grant. Get Grant involved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Sharon could be like... Because then when Grant came back, Sharon was a bit like,
Grant.
Yeah, it's it. Lifted her eyebrow and just like, all right, Grant. So I think Sharon was always willing to take the opportunity to, play away from Phil. There's always there. So who's the daddy?
Phil. I'm going to say it's going to be a Phil one. Yeah. Because otherwise, if it's not and it all comes out, Sharon might be a bit too isolated. I don't know. Was she? It would do her good.
Yeah, but she's going to
isolate her.
She's going to get in trouble anyway when, this fallout happens.
Yeah, but if it's Mitchell family blood, then Phil might see past it. Only time will tell. 9 months' time will tell.
Yes.
So next up, we are going on to a game, and then we've got the rest of the storylines to go through.
So this week, it's time for my game, and sadly, still no sign from Halfway's hat.
No,
so he's
in the closet.
He's firmly out of the closet, and he is wandering around Wolford. But unfortunately, he hasn't decided to show his face again this week. So I'm getting a bit worried about halfway through. If anyone's seen him, please do get in touch with us.
He's hung up
on the show.
In Callum's closet.
Well, anyway, I thought we'd play an old game of Martin Fowler's 5 a day.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I love his vitamins.
So do I. A nice big dose of it in my mouth. So anyone who's listening to the show for the first time, the way we play this game is I'm going to give Ben a question with multiple different answers. Ben just has to give me 5 in an allotted amount of time. Because normally it's 30 seconds, but because of the nature of this one, I'm going to give you a minute.
Oh, it should be a minute all the time because 30 seconds is unfair.
Well, you seem to still be able to complete it without needing the full time occasionally. It just depends whether you panic or not. If
Complete
only
Martin Fowler to completion.
Yeah, yes, you need to finish Martin Fowler out to the end. So this week I found out that there was some DVDs and some downloads that were available back in 2018 on the 2nd September. The BBC released a few old episodes, EastEnders Iconic Exits they called them, and they were a collection of episodes that you could download and watch, which were considered some iconic exits for the soap.
Ooh.
Now this was between 1985 and 2013, bizarrely, so they wouldn't allow you to download episodes after 2013. No, well, apparently the BBC thought so. So what I'm going to ask you, Ben, is can you name 5 iconic exits as thought by the BBC when they released them back in 2nd of September 2018? Now there are 25 different answers to this, so you can shoot the fish in the barrel a little bit and maybe give a few here and there and see where we go with it, okay?
Shoot. Yep.
Okay. So you have 1 minute. Are you ready?
Yeah, it's going to take you a minute to check through the checklist.
That's why you've got a minute. Starting from now.
Right. Den's exit being shot in the canal.
Den Watts being shot on the 23rd of February, correct.
Punk Mary on the bus swearing?
No.
Oh, Punk Mary. Who shot... Oh, no, that's not an exit. Who shot Phil? An exit. Angie's exit.
No. Think deaths. There's a lot of deaths.
Saskia being killed by Steve Owen.
Yes, Saskia killed in E20, 14th and 15th of February 1999.
Steve Owen being exploded by a car.
Steve Owen dies in a car explosion, 1st of March 2002. 30 seconds left.
Mark Fowler leaves.
Yes, Mark rides away on a motorcycle, the 14th of February 2003. One more.
Pauline Fowler's death at Christmas. That's not...
No, I think that was a bit after the allotted time slot they gave.
No.
Got 10 seconds coming up.
Who else? Arthur Fowler, I love him.
And yes, Arthur Fowler's death on the 20th. He collapsed on the 20th, and then his reveal was on the 21st of May 1996. Well done. There you go.
That's stressful.
You got 5 out of 25. I mean, you had a lot of, like I say, you had a lot of chances there.
Yeah.
Do you want to know them all?
Yes.
Okay, so
quickly, go.
In chronological order, Reg Cox's death on the 19th of February 1985. Iconic.
That's not an exit.
Lou Bill's final family meeting on the 26th of July 1988. Den Watts shot on the 23rd of February 1989. Simon Wicks leaves on the 27th of
His
December
exit was rubbish.
1990. It was iconic.
He just got in a car and it wasn't even the end of the episode.
Eddie Royal is killed by Nick Cotton, 10th of September 1991.
Spoiler.
Oh yeah, sorry to anyone who's watching Classic without knowing. Michelle Fowler leaves with Vicky, the 26th of October 1999, in a black cab.
Of course.
The first of its kind. David Wicks leaves the square, 21st of November 1996. Tiffany Mitchell hit by Frank Butcher's car, 31st of December 1998.
Jamie, he must be on there too.
He's not.
Oh,
Saskia is killed in E20, which you got. Grant Mitchell flies away on the 25th of October 1999. Dot helps Ethel die, 7th of September 2000. Steve Owen dies in the car explosion. Mel Owen leaves after discovering Steve's affair, and Lisa was hiding that she had shot Phil on the 12th of April 2002. She's a fan favourite. Trevor dies in a fire with Sharon's then boyfriend Tom.
Firefighter.
The 1st of November 2002. Mark rides away on the motorcycle. Barry's killed by Janine after being pushed off a cliff on the 1st of January 2004.
Oh, that's good.
Den killed by Chrissy in the Vic on the 18th of February 2005. Dennis stabbed waiting for Sharon in the We Did It scene, 30th of December 2005. Danielle knocked down by Janine, which then when Ronnie discovers that she's her daughter, 2nd of April 2009. Gary and Dawn Swan sail away together.
No way.
Yep, 27th of August 2009.
Andy being hit by a car in 1985 is more iconic than that.
Andy being hit by a car's not in it.
That's what I'm saying. That she replaced Gary.
Bradley jumps off the Queen Vic roof. Their first live episode, 19th of February 2010. Heather is killed by Ben, 21st of March 2012. Michael Moon is murdered, the 1st of November 2013. Bonnie and Roxy leave to Ibiza after killing Kyle, the 1st of January 2014. Janine Butchers leaves after a not guilty verdict for Michael Moon's murder on the 20th of March 2014.
And nothing happened after that.
Well, things happened, but I think the BBC thought, well, we don't really want to give away our A game, our material.
DVD number 2.
Well, number 3. There were 2 DVDs already.
Oh.
You can actually get them as a download on Amazon for £1. Mm-hmm. So if you want to watch all those episodes, there you go. There's one way to do it. So there you go. I hope you all enjoyed that. Let us know how you got on by finding us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook just by joining our group. And you can also email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And that was Martin Fowler's 5 a Day.
Right, so we have a little storyline now with the Taylor family.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little stories because the Taylors had a different story each day of the week.
All revolving around Bailey.
In one way or another, yeah.
Might say, it's very inappropriate, but very good-looking family at that funeral.
The Taylors? I mean, there is a time and a place when you look up a family and admire their beauty. Perhaps a funeral was not one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Would you hook up at a funeral? If you had the opportunity?
Yeah, why not?
Would you?
Gotta live.
Well, you've got to live, yeah, while you're praying over a corpse.
Exactly. If you're looking at your mortality, you might as well just
That's true. Live and let live.
That's what Dinah would have wanted. Or Dina, whatever her name is.
Oh, it's Dina. Oh, hey.
Dinah. No, Dina.
It's Dina, isn't it?
D. That's what D would have wanted.
Brilliant. That's a solution to this problem.
They're very emotional. Bailey was showing us all exactly why she won Best Young Actress and Best Partnership at the Soap Awards, because she had lots of quite heavy scenes. They were all quite heavy scenes for such a young actress to do, really.
She was pulling her weight for the Best Partnership, but I feel that Mitch is kind of not.
I'm still not into Mitch. I don't like him. I find him really boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's meant to be this kind of broody kind of character. Because you see him being a bit flirtatious around women and also very confident when he's with the lads and this and the other, it kind of takes away any kind of the mystery from him immediately away. But I think he was always meant to be introduced as this kind of mysterious character, and then you find out about him being, with Karen and so on, and bits and pieces.
It's almost like when he was that part-time character, he was a bit more interesting because he was like slightly villainous, like a bit nasty in it, but not quite as horrible as Nick, but a bit like that. And now because he's full time, they've kind of like, oh no, we want him to be likable, and it's just made him a bit flat and boring to me. And
also with them having a character like Gray who's been introduced and has struck gold really with the way he's being portrayed, that he's a bit quiet and a bit brooding, and he kind of watches from afar and then steps in when he needs to. So that's how a kind of a thoughtful character works a bit better, because we still don't know very much about Gray. We just know that he helps when he needs to be helpful.
I know.
But judges when he needs to judge.
And we've still not seen Gray or Chantal like in the house or on their own. No. Is there no set? What happened?
Well, yeah, number 1 Albert Square has kind of just been forgotten. I guess they're just doing it up.
Yeah, I guess.
Having a bit of work done, and you'll see this whole new beautiful set, which will be number 1 Albert Square.
I want to see more of Gray and Chantal, because I do like them. I don't necessarily want Gray to be a super villain, but just to see what their storyline is.
But that's what I mean. Gray, you still don't know enough about Gray.
Because he stood up to Phil, didn't he? Quite happily. So he's not like scared of standing up to the Mitchells.
No, if he has to, which is what a villain would do. A less villainous person would probably be a little bit more worried to standing up to Phil, or make more jokes around Phil. But
at the same time, he's does things by the law. So I don't know. It's hard to know.
Yeah, but that's how we're doing things around here now, as Gray said. Yeah. So has Gray got intentions to be the king of the square?
Or he's in the big house,
the biggest house of them all,
that overlooks the square. So
yeah. So Mitch has finally admitted that perhaps he's overreacted a little bit by the way he's treated Karen these past couple of weeks, and
couple of 20 years.
Yeah, and that perhaps maybe he was wrong to accuse Karen for doing the wrong thing when he probably would have done the same thing.
Dead to me forever.
Yeah, which is such a silly comment to make, especially when they now were committed to looking after Bailey. And I think this is the week where you found out that they are, the whole family, the whole of the Taylors are committed now to make sure Bailey's welfare is okay. Big
unit. And the best one for Bailey seems to be Keegan. He's really taken on this role as big brother.
Yeah.
Forget Bernie, she's out of it.
Nah.
Don't need to look after her anymore.
I mean, Bernie must be a bit jealous because Ted showed some interest in Bailey as well, giving her advice, saying that...
Playing chess with her now.
Yeah, exactly. Younger prodigy, you see. Forget Bernie. Bernie's gone. Keegan has read the first card that Dee had written for Bailey, the first of her, messages from the grave, if you want.
Because Karen didn't want her to read it yet. But Bailey and Keegan were there on their own, and she asked her big brother to read it for her, or he offered to, but he couldn't quite get through it.
No.
She was like, just give it here, I'll do it.
No, she was a little bit. She kind of sat on his lap as well, and it was really sweet, wasn't it? Because it was it was a proper brother and sister moment, and they Bailey has done a lot for Keegan. Yet again, Bailey is the star really, because Bailey has looked after Keegan to make Keegan moulded the way that he is now, and so I think he's thankful for that, and so being helpful to her too.
Yeah,
I mean, as
he
you said,
to give back.
Yeah, the whole family rallied round at the funeral of Dee as well, as you said, and when Bailey wanted to read her last words to her mum, and kind of openly said, I'm ready to accept now that you've died, and that you didn't let me down, your body let me down, so I will always love you and I'll always forgive you for that. I think it was nice. It wrapped it up, and it was a nice ending for Bailey to now move forward.
I mean, it took me by surprise that her funeral was so empty. She had a few people in the back, and that was it.
Well, they were a bit isolated though, weren't they? Because Bailey was snuck in the van and kind of kept out the way, wasn't she, when she was first introduced with Mitch? So I think they were
all her mates had sort of forgotten her during her illness, Dee's illness, I mean.
Yeah. But
it's a bit sad. I think all the only ones that were there were the Taylors, really.
There were a few stragglers at the back.
Yeah, some old man at the back. Don't know who he was.
Probably there for the money. There for the will reading later. Yeah. But it was really nice, and I think they've tied it up really well, ready for Bailey's story now to be, I'm now part of the Taylors. So it's exciting now. So we're going to see perhaps Bailey not have quite so much of the weight of the world on her shoulders, which will be nice to see Bailey being a kid.
But also, Ted's moving back in. He's got his suitcases. Where's Bailey going to go? Is she going to live with Ted?
She's living upstairs.
She's
with
going
the
to live
Taylors.
upstairs.
Yeah. She'll be living with them.
Where's she going to sleep? Keanu's already on the sofa.
Yeah, but Keanu's moved in with the Mitchells.
What, officially?
Oh, must have. I don't think Phil would. I'm surprised Phil hasn't said you got to put a ring on it. Because, it's quite traditional, isn't it?
Well, he did say to Keanu, if you're going to be a dad, you've got to stick around.
Well, there you go. So he'll be staying with the Mitchells, making life even more difficult for Sharon.
He's in Michelle's old room.
Yeah. I fear that there's going to be a few shots of Sharon coming down on the landing, kind of going to the toilet.
In her underwear.
Yeah. And then Keanu coming out like, oh, hi.
Tease.
Yeah.
She slips her shoulder in her silk gown. Oh, hi, Keanu.
She could be wearing a Whitney special off Whitney's stall, which is a nightie underneath a nightie. She could be wearing one of those. So
next up, we have the last storyline, which is sort of two storylines merged into one. We have the Carters and the opening of the Prince Albert. So yes, the Carters are on their way to the Spice Girls this week as well.
Yeah.
And we also have some more serious storylines for the Carters. Not over the top, hiring hitmen or people getting shot or anything. It's quite a serious...
bit somber for the Carters, isn't it?
But it's nice because it's a family issue-led storyline, which we haven't had that for the Carters, really. They've been quite explosive. So taking them back down to earth a bit. And I agree,
it's nice that they've got this more social kind of story. But I do think they ruined it at the end when they did that kind of silly, over-the-top Rain Man type of ending where Ollie was able to do something which was unachievable for someone that age. Go to Mensa, get his IQ tested. It's
And they are kind of acting like... I don't know... I'm going to admit I don't know much about autism or signs of autism or living with autism, but the way they're walking around him, sadly looking at him he's got might have autism. It's it's he's got an illness or something, but it's not an illness. So I don't know if that's a bit...
Well, this is the whole point of the story, isn't it? Because Linda's got, Ollie's her youngest. Linda's had all these hopes and dreams for Ollie. And
Johnny was ruined, so Ollie's the next
child. But they even said that, though, didn't they? When they said, Ollie should have been this, and this at this age. Well, when 3 of the others were, I don't think so. It's so you're saying all your children were a bit autistic when they were younger. But I bet they can't put together a Lego puzzle at 7 years up at that age.
I wonder who, what crew member put that together for the set.
Oh yeah, I wonder who got to take it home as well. I mean, I'd be fighting for that Lego toy. I love Lego.
And they showed Lego Box. That's unlike EastEnders.
Oh yeah, they didn't make up a brand.
Dego or something.
Pego. It'd be Pego.
Yeah. But yeah, because they go to the hospital, a doctor's appointment, and that's where Mick finds out that Linda's kind of known that there's been signs for a while, but she hadn't told him.
Yeah, she had.
Even though... Well, no more secrets, Mick.
Yes.
And I've heard that for the past 4 years in a row, I think.
And they've had about 3 secrets in the last 2 weeks. So, well, Mick's secret was he was trying to get Spice Girls tickets, kept that quiet. Yeah. She thought he was having an affair. And then, yes, as you say, Linda now has kept, because he was in prison, let's not forget.
Yes, he was. With Fingers.
Yes.
I wonder if Fingers is out yet, or is he still behind
making
bars?
Weapons out of Beantons. What about the guy who was like, the moustache? Frasier. Yeah.
Watering his plant.
And he was listening to classical music.
He's still in there. He's
king
of
the
dog.
Yeah, he is. King of the prison cells. I mean, that was such a forgotten. I know I've said this a few times, but that was so forgotten. It was so throwaway.
They should have had Queenie come back and he still be like top dog or something.
It reminds me of Queenie now. Now I think back. Frasier.
But worse, somehow.
Yeah. More over the top. More dramatically silly.
But yeah, Mick was in prison, so he missed out on these bits. But Linda didn't bother telling him because she didn't want to worry him in case it was nothing. Yeah, and then so Mick says, "Oh, it's not the first time you've like not told me things when I was in prison." Okay, well done. Really? Yeah. But he's not growing up quite the same. Ollie, not Mick. Ollie isn't quite growing up the same way as all the other kids in the class. He's kind of staring aimlessly into the distance, not making friends. Yeah, and being slightly violent towards children, stuff like that. But not Pearl. He likes Pearl. Yeah. So Linda's constantly trying to set up play dates with Pearl. Just to test see what he's doing every day. Yeah, to test him, to see. And even Kim's getting a bit fatigued from visiting Ollie all the time. It's like, oh, do you want to go on another play date? What now? What right now? It's all... Well, I think Kim's forgotten one of her kids. Well, what was his name? Noah? I can't remember. I've never seen him. Mika, yeah. Yeah, Mika has gone... He's not been seen since he went to Scotland. I mean... Presumably he's being looked after by someone, or he's in some kind of nursery. But then why does she always take Pearl with her everywhere? Or always walk around saying, "I've got nothing to do." yeah. You've got children. You've got children to look after. Very strange. I don't know what's happened to Mika, but well, a lot of people, because you did pose the question on Twitter, and a few people said, "Oh, Patrick's looking after him." But again, is Patrick really safe? He had a stroke. Yeah, stroke victim. He's not victim. You shouldn't use the term victim. No. That's offensive probably to a few people. But yeah, he's, I don't think he should be kept with a child for... No, I think they just want to write him out. What, Mika? Yeah. They're going to forget Or they're going to do a really sad story. No, it's going to forget he existed. Like Ali and Sue. That'd be really sad. Well, it seems you can't just ignore the existence of the baby. Especially the way it came to this earth by... Phil doing the facial, the facial gymnastics that he did during the scene at the Minute Mar. Even doing a storyline about his birthday would be difficult because it's Christmas Eve and there's going to be so much going on Christmas Eve every year. There's going to be no time for Mika. I don't know. They can't just ignore that there is a child called Mika that Kim just seems to not give a damn about. Kim's too busy opening up gay clubs. So. Well, she is. Because Kathy, it kind of just sprung out of nowhere that apparently it was opening that night, and Kathy hadn't organised anything, even though she's running the business. So she's pretty useless at this, Kathy, so far. Well, yeah, and also considering that she's just basically spent 2 days organising this big opening night, where she's had the club, for 2 weeks? So she's had plenty of time to organise it. No. I'm guessing she's just left it for Tina to do. And Tina's left it for her to do, maybe? Yeah, maybe some cross wires. But then the whole point was Tina's been away for 2 days because she found another baby Spice at the Spice Girls concert. I think. Was it another Jerry? Oh, no, you're quite right. It was another Jerry. Yeah, come on, get it right. Sorry, I get my Spice Girls mixed up. So she spent 2 days with her and then hitchhiking back. But because the bus that was meant to take her home had gone. That's her story. But then surely there's other buses, there's other trains, there's other public transport. With the other Jerry. Well, no, not for 2 days. We don't know. But also she didn't have a change of clothes. She turned up with the same wig. Wearing the wig, exactly. It's like, why... Crazy. I mean, lovely Kim. She went out of her way. She organised the whole opening. Got loads of acts in. There was a magic act. It was like a crystal ball doing things on a table. Drag act. Yeah, there was some drag artists. Yep, can dancers. Yeah, and Kathy barges in, says, "Well, it doesn't look very good in here." All right, Kathy. I know. Just because she's got her new blow dry and her new hair and makeup. And her gold dress. Yeah. She's quite opinionated, old Kathy, because she's 1 minute with praise and the next minute with negativeness. Because when Tina comes back and seems quite upset because obviously she may have lost her job now. Understandably, because she's just turned up to opening night, not washed for 3 days in costume. And not planning to work that evening anyway. He just kind of turned up and said, "Oh, sorry, Kathy, I'm going to go home now and get changed." And poor Kim's done all this last minute bookings and then she offers her a job. Tina says, "Oh, how much does it charge?" Kathy looks at a bill that's handed to her from someone. I don't know who. They just have Kim's bill on hand for some reason. She goes, "Oh no, you don't get the job. Actually, you spend too much money."
But then, what does Kathy expect? Does she not to overspend? Because it was a last-minute bookings.
Exactly.
All of them were last-minute bookings.
And high talent.
Very high talent. Like you say, there was a woman spinning globes and all kinds of stuff around there.
So yeah, Tina then got a job back. Yeah. And then she just told Kim to go, even though she'd arranged everything.
Does Kathy have any staff working behind the bar? Are people just serving themselves drinks?
Free drinks?
It just doesn't make any sense. I must say that I was disappointed not to see a bowl, because I don't know, again, this might be the kind of classy gay clubs that I used to frequent.
What are you about to say?
But they used to have bowls of condoms on the bar. Keep it safe.
Kathy doesn't understand that.
She has to. Surely she does that, like when Ben stays over, she puts a mint and a condom on his pillow when he comes home with his conquest.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy's not very educated in that area, is she?
Well, hence why she left it, I suppose, for Tina to organise.
To then not do anything. Yeah. But yeah, Prince Albert's open.
Finally.
But Kathy, even at the opening of her brand new business empire, she says, "Oh, I'm not staying all night. I've got to go home."
I've got bigger fish to fry back at home.
She had like a mysterious phone call when Kim was trying to arrange things earlier in the day. And Kim was like, "Well, what could be more important?" She was like, "This is more important."
Yeah.
And then, she went back to the Beale house. Someone was sitting, may I add, in the exact place where Lucy Beale died, is where he was sat.
Oh, that was a good observation. I did not spot that,
And he was picking at the chair, so he was obviously nervous. And Bobby Beale back.
Yeah. Hello, Bobby.
Yeah.
I did like that. I thought that line was really, hello,
No, he
Bobby.
doesn't like Kathy, does he? Because she stole his bedroom.
That's quite right. But I think he's going to let bygones be bygones. I think 3 years in prison does that to people.
I think we're going to feel sympathy for Bobby. It's not going to be a villain teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to feel sad for him.
Yeah.
Because he's not a murderous killer. He just did it to Lucy.
Well, no, yeah.
He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't plan it.
Well, he was upset because Lucy was upsetting his family, and he didn't like the status quo being ruined. And then he felt the same way toward Jane, was upsetting him and his family. So he did the same to Jane, and the same with Kathy, upsetting his family.
Doesn't dare hurt Kathy.
I think he's a bit of a daddy's boy, isn't he? To paraphrase Kimmy Schmidt, but he is a bit of a daddy's boy. I think he really wants his dad more than anything. So that will be where the interesting dynamic kicks in when Ian comes back, which is obviously very soon.
Yes, I think it's next week and maybe the week after or the week after that. But yeah, it is soon. Ian's back. So yeah, exciting times ahead. Yeah, exciting weeks coming ahead. But that was the roundup for EastEnders this week. You know what it's time for? It's time to read out some of those tweets, some of those Facebook messages and Instagram, and find out who you voted who had won the week. Yeah, it's your time to shine.
And you know me, I ain't one to gossip.
Okay, so before, as always, every week, we delve into who won the week. This week, we take off our shoes, politely ask if we're allowed to come in, walk into the Time House, and find what Ben has seen had won the week in previous years of EastEnders.
I sit in a dark room.
You do?
And watch lots of episodes of EastEnders.
Do you have a photography room?
A dark room, I think you'll find. The term is.
Oh, I know.
So I did a bit backwards this week, but it actually turned out to all link up weirdly. I watched the episodes first and then did like the birthdays and deaths, and the deaths link up to the random episodes I chose. It's really weird.
Oh,
it's fate. So only one birthday to celebrate this year of people who have passed away who didn't get mentioned this week on EastEnders.
All right.
Roy Evans, his birthday was the 14th of June.
Oh, right.
Barry's dad.
I know he doesn't like your earrings, is what I was about to say.
But yeah, no one can really celebrate Roy, can they? No one's really alive. Tiff could possibly mention him, her great uncle.
Yeah, I suppose so. Oh yeah, because
Pat was married to him.
Pat was married and Pat's died. Barry is his son. He's died.
Yeah, so there's no one really
Just Janine.
Celebrate.
But there's no Janine really gives a monkeys.
No. So yeah, we'll celebrate.
Happy birthday, Roy. The actor who plays Roy lives near to us.
I know. We should have got him on for his birthday. Roy's 100th birthday.
If anyone knows Roy, do let us know. And we'll get in touch with him. We'll give him a birthday party.
We know where he lives, but that's all.
But not that we stalk him and go through his bins.
No, but it was just an option at one point. But there you go.
Okay.
So 2 people died this time last year.
2 people died.
Yes, we had 14th of June 2001. Ashley Cotton died.
Ashley Cotton, isn't he an actor in Coronation Street?
Oh yeah.
Well, there's Anthony Cotton.
Die, yeah. He
Wait, don't say that.
No, the character.
Oh, okay.
Not the actor.
Okay, fine, good.
Ashley Cotton was Nick Cotton's son, who died on a motorbike.
Oh, yeah, through the laundrette window.
Yes, and 13th of June 2011, Lydia Simmons died. Now, I hear you asking, who's Lydia Simmons?
What was doing?
That is Janine's nan.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So guess what? This time last year, the episodes I picked before I even looked at the deaths were those 2 episodes.
How
that's
weird.
Really odd. So 13th of June 2001 was the episode where Ashley died, even though he died on the 14th of June. So they were obviously like a day off themselves for some reason.
Well, I suppose when people die or things happen, they can have the whole day going over a week or something like that.
So yeah, he died. The episode of him dying was on the 13th, but he died on the 14th. The episode of Lydia Simmons, she died on the 13th, but the episode on the 14th of June 2011 that aired, she had actually died a week ago.
Okay.
So yeah, the timelines are all over the place, aren't they? So the first episode was Ashley Cotton who died, and it's because he took Mark Fowler's motorbike.
Yes.
Now Nick Cotton has a habit of doing this. He cuts the brakes on vehicles and hopes the person he wants to die gets on it and dies. Never does.
No, never works.
The same thing happened with Ronnie as well. So it didn't work this time because he had an ongoing feud with Mark Fowler. Because Nick was trying to sell drugs to Martin. So Mark wasn't very happy. Oh,
I'd be pretty upset too.
So yeah, he meant for Mark Fowler to die. Lisa nearly got on the motorbike. She's pregnant with Louise at the moment. And Gary said, "Oh, don't do that. I've not fixed it yet, or not looked at it, or something."
Why was Lisa getting on the motorbike?
Because she wanted to go for a ride because she was upset, and then she said, "No, it's probably best I don't in my condition."
So who had insurance on this motorcycle? Did anyone who wanted to use this motorcycle just get on it?
Well, Lisa and Mark were together at the time.
Oh, so they probably shared it.
Yeah, but Louise is obviously Phil's baby. So then maybe they shared it, but Spencer was just stealing it because he was angry.
Not Spencer.
Not Spencer, whatever his name is.
Anthony.
And Ashley.
Yes.
Ashley wanted to steal the motorbike and run off, but...
Run away from his evil dad. Away.
But no, he went on a curb, couldn't brake, swerved, because he nearly hit someone. So he did the good thing and swerved out of the way, but then ended his own life.
I mean, it's pretty cool. I remember it quite well. He goes smash right into the window.
Well, you say it was pretty cool. In your head, because I remember it and I thought it was... Yeah. But then I rewatched it and it looked so bad.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, then I won't rewatch it.
I laughed when it happened. But yeah, went into the laundrette window. So poetic. That's obviously where Dot lives. Not lives. Works. That's where Dot works. So very poetic. And Nick was there and my son. And he died in Dot's arms straight away. Anthony Truman popped over.
Of course he did.
Yep, dead. So that was that.
I miss having a doctor on the square.
I know, just to pop in.
Yeah, we got a solicitor. We need a doctor on the square just so they can diagnose people for no reason. Just like, oh yeah, you got that.
Dr. Leg's nephew can come back.
No, he can't. With curling lips.
And the other episode was the 14th of June 2011 when Lydia Simmons had died a week ago. Janine's going around the square acting all weird and upset and no one understands why she's upset.
Yeah.
Ian is working on the fruit stall by himself and he calls Pat Treacle. And Pat goes, "What is this, Ian? Trying to be your father?" That was funny.
Pat, calling a spade a spade. Yeah. Good for you, Pat.
And Pat is under the illusions. She thinks that Janine purposely killed her gran because Janine got all the money.
Right.
But Janine didn't know that was happening. And Janine, this is the one time where Janine was being nice because she first took care of her nan because she was dying to manipulate her. The nan was like Janine and was manipulating Janine, and they like bonded. And they ended up really liking each other.
I remember all this, actually. She would take her around the square and then go for tea at the cafe and stuff.
And she died, and it turns out she ended up leaving everything to Janine. Right. But everyone on the square thinks Janine murdered him. Especially Pat, because I know you, Janine.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, she has that past as Janine. So it's difficult for her to wipe that slate clean. Yeah. She's
murdered 3, but she didn't murder her nan. But she inherited £1 million. So she's a millionaireess.
Didn't she get that painting of Frank Butcher with that as well?
Oh, do you think? No, that was already there, wasn't it? Because she had that in that grotty flat.
No, I'm sure there was a big picture of Frank Butcher, and she inherited that as well as the money.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it's linked somehow. Yeah, because she's in that flat, the flat where she used to share.
It's like the basement flat, isn't it?
I don't remember the location.
Didn't Billy used to live there? Or
no, Gus used to live there with her.
Oh,
I think.
Okay,
but I could be wrong. I could be mixing.
That was the flat where she got that thing where she couldn't go outside, wasn't it? I can't remember what it's called. That
agoraphobia.
Illness. Yeah, she got that.
Oh, did she? Oh, isn't also
leave the flat.
Isn't also that the flat with Whitney's brother where she was deliberately poisoning him so he'd stay with her? That flat.
The one down the stairs which Evie kicked that bum down.
Oh, right. Why do they not use that flat anymore? Because that's a 2-bed flat, so that would be good for 2 characters to share a flat in.
Louise and Keanu.
But yeah. Well, yeah, for the baby as well, yeah.
But there you go, that was the 2 episodes. So 2 deaths, 2 episodes, all wrapped up nicely.
And 1 birthday, but they're dead too. So
Most people are dead now.
These dead days. That's a reference from Red Dwarf. So, who won the week? We gave you 4 options. There is an honourable mention that someone nominated on our Facebook page, which did better than one of our own mentions.
Most likely Robbie.
Well, let's see, shall we? So there's Sharon's +1, Robbie's Keeping Mum, Bailey's Goodbye, Linda's Ollie Fear, and the honourable mention is Kathy's Big Gay Opening.
Oh, obviously.
Obviously, I thought it was too obvious to do Kathy's Big Gay Opening. I just thought everyone loves it.
It's not our words, it's someone else's, so...
Yep, well...
Can't call us crude.
So, absolutely not. So, again, thank you everyone who voted on our Twitter, Instagram and Facebook pages. As always, we've had a great number of votes, so thank you for everyone who's got involved. Ben, who do you think came...
Last?
No, third. Who came third?
Kathy's... No, Bailey, third.
No, Bailey was very popular, actually.
Oh.
I'll run it in order. So, last place was Robbie.
Obviously.
With 6% of the vote.
He actually got a vote?
He got 13.
What?
He got 13 votes. In 4th place was Kathy's Big Gay Opening. Everyone loves Dean. Kathy's Opening, which got 7%. Bear in mind that came in very late.
That's true, and only on one platform.
Yeah, and it got more votes.
Yes.
So that's good to know. It's on 2 platforms, actually.
Oh, okay.
If I see someone's done something on Facebook, I add it to Instagram. Just so you guys know. 3rd place was Linda's Ollie Fear at 18%. 2nd place was Bailey's Goodbye with 31%.
No stopping her.
So Sharon's +1 with 38%.
Sharon
won the week. Don't forget you can vote on our Twitter at EastEnders Week, Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or our Facebook page. Just go to EastEnders Weekly Podcast, click on the group and ask to join.
Might I just say, we watched Classic EastEnders today and Sharon has finally lost her virginity.
And she has, with Wixie.
Yeah,
so congratulations.
it's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good one to lose it to, I feel.
I feel the same way. He's walking around in his pants again, as usual. He's such a perv, isn't he? A few tweets then to start with. At Oliver Kaysen. Sorry if I said... Oh, by the way, sorry to anyone's names we say wrong. We don't do it on purpose. So,
yeah, Dinah.
So we apologise. Oliver says, Sharon's +1. Well, because it's Sharon and that wine glass throw. So fair enough. He voted for that one.
Robbie had to sweep it up.
Well, no, Robbie's not got his job. He's lost it, hasn't he? Lister probably had to do it. Pick up the pieces carefully, not get cut. Or got Whitney to do it to get the pitch. At Noir 4 Moon said, I'm side-eyeing any people who have voted for Robbie.
Me too. Apparently 11 people. How many was it? 16? I don't know.
13.
Well, they're all wrong.
There you go. If you voted for that one, you're wrong, I'm afraid.
13's an unlucky number too, so...
Yeah, true. At Limehouse Dan said, fantastic to see Kim smiling again. I enjoyed the Spice storyline, but not sure where Ballum is going.
To bed.
There you go. That's your answer there, London Dan. At Andy Gibson TV said, the autism storyline is being stereotypically portrayed. The scene with the Lego tonight has rolled me up big time. I know, I was a bit like, ugh. You've kind of taken a story which could be quite strong and...
It's only the early beginnings though, but yeah. I can't really comment because I don't know enough about autism. I'll do some research.
Go ahead. At Tiger Boy Sean J said, interesting, Bobby looks more like Ian now than ever. I thought that as well. They've casted that quite well. He looks like a young Ian Beale. A young Ian Beale. And the winner for me of tweets this week comes from at Blonde Steve, who wrote, I teared up on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday this week, which says the show is delivering emotionally. Or am I hormonal? Maybe I'm pregnant. Oh God, has Keanu been at me?
I think you'd remember if Keanu had been at you. 1.
I don't know.
What you rather say about Keanu? He's not a very good lover. And 2, what was he crying at? I'm trying to think. Oh, probably the Bailey things. They were quite sad.
Yeah, there was really sad parts.
And maybe crying at Sharon. Laugh crying.
No, I felt bad for Sharon. Poor Sharon. On our Facebook group, Chris Scott says, I really want to say the gay bar, but it was a bit of a limp launch.
Oh.
Wait. Although I'm not sure really what I was expecting.
Something a bit harder, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a bigger opening.
So again, thank you to everyone who messages us on our social medias. I won't go through them all again, but you can find us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.
You just went through them all again.
but I didn't give the links to them.
Oh, okay.
But you can find the links on our show notes.
Weekly.
Yeah. Or you can email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com, and just give us any comments or any part of the show that you want us to talk about. Anything at all, just let us know.
Ideas, features.
Yeah, give us
Someone
ideas.
gave us an idea for Julie's legacy, and that ran for weeks.
It did,
12 weeks.
So you don't get anything for it. You just get a thank you for an acknowledgement that we have taken it up.
You get a pint.
Pint? What do you want? A pint! So, so thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Keep following us, as I say, on Twitter as we...
I'm laughing at Pete Bill.
As we live tweet
Pete,
every time.
The market store is empty.
Pint! Pint!
Pete, Kathy's in court with Wilmot Brown.
Pint! We might get to talk about Classic next week. So that'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of Pete. If there's anything you want us to talk about Classic EastEnders, let us know. But yes, we live tweet on Twitter every time EastEnders is broadcast in the UK. And as we say, just get in touch with us. We love getting your messages. We really do. And we try to reply to as many as we can. So great. Thank you for... Oh, and don't forget, if you want to review us on iTunes, you can...
Just post a review.
Yeah. Just post a review.
I think people know how to do reviews. Although iTunes has changed now, so I don't know how it works.
It's Apple Podcasts now, isn't it? They've split it into
Not
3.
Aware.
Doesn't matter. Not important.
Just
have a great
review
week. Have fun. Have a great week. Take care, everyone.